What's up, y'all? T-Bob here from Snaps, daily college football show that I hope you really enjoy. And I've been getting a lot of crap on my show lately about, choosing Alabama over Texas. You know what I didn't do, though? I didn't bet on him. You know who I did bet on? Kansas, okay? And I did it on the DraftKings Sportsbook app because when it comes on where I like to gamble, I love the DraftKings app. And it's because they got incredible offers. If you're already a DraftKings customer, well, check this out. Every single NFL game day during September, you're not going to have just one, but two new offers waiting on you when you sign in. So you'll have to sign in to see exactly what those offers are. But just remember, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, every NFL game day, all customers getting two exciting offers from DraftKings to play with. It's a ton of fun. But what if you're a new customer? Well, I've got an even better deal for you. You use the promo code T-Bob when you sign up, okay? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, promo code T-Bob, T-B-O-B. You bet $5 on any NFL game, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. Put $5 down on any of the games. Don't even have to win. You get $200 instantly in bonus bets. You can go play with those on college football, NFL, whatever you want. You can play with those. That's some of those incredible deals you get. So you see it. There's not a more fun place to get in on the action than DraftKings. And you can do all your same game parlays, multi-game parlays, whatever you want. So download the app now. Sign up with the promo code T-Bob, T-B-O-B, $5 gives you $200 in bonus bets instantly. And for returning customers, remember every NFL game day, two exciting new offers from your official sports betting partner of the NFL, DraftKings. The crown is yours. What's going on, Amp? Welcome into another episode of Snaps, a daily college football podcast that I hope you enjoy. And if you do, you can like it, share it, tell your friends about it, help us spread the good word. I am T-Bob Hebert, one of your hosts, joined, as always, by QB1, Mr. Aaron Murray. What's up, Aaron? Looking fresh with the fade. I, too, got caught up. I gotta wear my pods again. You can't see my hair because it's headphones, but you look good.
You got a haircut?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You can't tell. It looks good, though. I'm telling you. It looks great, but no, you can't tell.
My lady who cut my hair today did something really interesting at the end. She grabbed a brush, put like a, not Sharpie, but like some makeup pen into the brush, and then filled out my beard with the brush.
Huh. You do have actually, look at that. You do have more.
I know.
Yeah, you have more solid scruff than you normally do. Bro, that is a fuck boy. That is a fuck boy ass fade. Oh my God. Turn to the side. If I saw you at a bar, I would think that we probably wouldn't be friends. I don't know. That is a Tampa ass fade right there, dude. Hell yeah. Let's go. Like that guy.
I went full zero. I went full bald fade today for the first time.
I know. I can tell. It is shocking that you're just that in reality, you're a good father of two, a happily married family man, because you look like someone that is texting 3 to 4 girls at all time, that actively tenders while he's in a relationship. Unbelievable, dude. Looking good, though.
I appreciate it. Feeling good. Feel good.
I'm feeling good too because we got 11 ranked games coming up this weekend, or it's like 7 ranked unranked or something like that. It's an absurd number. 6. Damn.
You just keep working your way down.
Kind of fucked up the hype 7, there, right? 6. Yeah. Whatever. It's a great slate of college football. We got a bunch of games we want to talk about. So this week we're doing something a little different, where we are going to start our game breakdowns today. Tomorrow we'll do the 3 big boys: Ole Miss, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Colorado, Oregon. Probably a bit of news as well. Today we're gonna dive straight in. We're gonna talk FSU, Clemson, UCLA, Utah, Auburn, A&M, Arkansas, LSU, Oregon, Oregon State, Washington State, and then Iowa, Penn State. So a lot of games to get to today. I will say, not really from a gambling perspective, though some of that may sneak in at times. Of course, on Friday, bring your gambling show with Colin Wilson from the Action Network, who I love dearly. I had so much fun with him last week. Cannot wait again. All right, Aaron, real quick before we begin, remember youtube.com/@volumesnaps. We're trying to push to 10K. Just hit 5 last week. Please help us. Obviously, that's a double, so that's hard. But if you enjoy the show, man, well, just, do a solid. Like, subscribe when we're deeply grateful. And share with your friends. Tell your friends about it who also enjoy college football. Because right now, so many of y'all are watching and liking that it's really helping the algorithm put us in front of other college football fans. We want to continue to do that. So we keep doing the show because we love it. All right, let's dive into it. Aaron, Florida State, Clemson. Here's my deal. And this is in Death Valley. Okay, Florida State, this is it. We gave you a free pass for the BC game. I get it. Look ahead spot, drop off from the LSU opponent. Why in the world, with anything Boston College had showed you the first 2 weeks of the season, would you be worried at all about them? Bad weather. Like, I get all the excuses. So again, we gave you a free pass. I believe you to be, Florida State, one of the most complete teams in the entire country. Like I said, Florida State, top 10 O-line, top 10 D-line, top 10 secondary, top 10 quarterback, top 10 weapons. Elite everywhere. Clemson, on the other hand, elite nowhere. Okay, there is no way, Florida State, if you are real championship contenders, if you are supposed to be who you're supposed to be, I don't care if the game is in Death Valley, you already beat another team that plays in Death Valley.
Yep.
Okay, there is no way that you should fuck this up this weekend. Florida State, this is your time to announce yourself to the country. Say, forget about that Boston College game. Who gives a shit about that? We are a true title contender. Like, you win this game, who knows? Next week, you might be the number one team in the country for snaps top 10. Depending on how other things break out. Like, there's real opportunity to get people to believe that you are a true national championship contender here.
No, I've said this the other day in the show, when the sense of that first game versus LSU, and it was a great win, and they dominate, especially in the second half. But I don't think LSU played nearly as good as they could have and should have. And I think we've seen what LSU's identity is these past 2 weeks. So I honestly still have some question marks about Florida State. Like, how good and elite are they? You look at them defensively, you kind of went through the entire roster, T. But when it comes to the stats, they are dead last in the ACC when it comes to passing yards given up per game. And it's not like they're going against a vaunted passing attack. Like, that's the one saving grace this weekend versus Clemson. Is Klubnik is still prone to a ton of mistakes. Even you watch him last week, 2 or 3 times he threw the ball into coverage that should have been intercepted, and the defenders play defense for a reason. They dropped the pass. He's not a refined passer. The receivers on the outside are not dominant, but you still need to go out there and show me against a Clemson passing attack, a bad passing attack, that you can shut them down, that you can eliminate them. And then also I want to see from this defense from Florida State, can you keep Klubnik in the pocket? I think that should be the goal of this game. You look at last week versus Boston College, what hurt Florida State? It's when the quarterback got outside, was being creative with his legs. That's when some of those big chunk plays happen down the field. So make Klubnik a quarterback inside the pocket, and I think you'll be fine, man. Like, I think your D-line can handle business against Clemson's offensive line. You can make them a little bit more one-dimensional, and you flip it over to the other side. Clemson is not the defense that we've been accustomed to seeing at all. And we know Florida State, Jordan Travis, I don't know how healthy he's going to be. Is he 80%? Is he 90%? Oh, I don't think it really matters. I think he's going to be just fine. And those playmakers and outsiders are going to continue to make plays. So this is a big moment. I think they're ready for it based on what we saw versus LSU. Like, I don't think they're going to shy away. And once you win this football game, to me, they may be the number one team in the country when it's all said and done after this weekend.
Look, if Mike Norvell, if you let this flawed Dabo Swinney team beat you, then it's never going to happen. Like, and it's interesting because if you were just listening to this game and you didn't pay a ton of attention to college football, likely as closely as everybody listening does, then you might think, well, hold on now. Like, Clemson's been great forever. They've been winning national championships, and what's Florida State's been nothing. And that's all true, but it has no bearing on this year. Like, I don't care about what's happened the past few years. Time to break the wheel. Time for FSU to take over the ACC once again, and it's all right there in front of him. And really, quite frankly, there's no excuse not to. You are better. Like, it's weird. I don't really care about Florida State stats as much, Aaron. Like, I don't care that they don't have like 3 receivers leading the country like Washington does. I don't care that you're not going to look at anything on paper. Like you said, worst pass defense of the ACC. I don't think many ACC teams have gone against a passing attack like what Jaden Daniels is bringing to bear. And if you could contain Jaden Daniels in that Tiger offense and have so much success against what I think is one of the best O-lines in the entire country. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't do the same thing against Klubnik and Clemson, unless the moment's just too big for you.
Yeah.
And Clemson in your head is just the boogeyman is just too big. I don't think it will. I saw Florida State -2.5, and the only thing that makes me uncomfortable is how comfortable I felt jumping to go pick that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Florida State should, and the reason why I'm so high and I don't care about stats is because I really dove in and I studied them firsthand, and they just look above a college team. They just look like they got NFL guys at every single level, and I think Norvell remains an elite offensive mind. And so, no, miss me with any. There are no excuses, FSU. If you don't win this weekend, it is a total failure. But I think you will. So,
yeah. And this will be a
Chop
consistent. This will be a consistent thing for me over the next 2 days as we break some of these games down. Who has the better quarterback and who has the better receivers? To me, like that's what college football has come down to. Like, who has the better skill and who is the better guy that can get them the ball in space and go make plays. And you have one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Jordan Travis, a top 3 receiving unit in the country with what they have there at Florida State. Plus, you throw in the tight end as well, and you flip it over to Clemson. You have a very green quarterback that's still trying to get his footing in a new offense, and you have average receivers. Like, it's a mega difference between the two. And to me, like, that is where college football is nowadays. The halves of the elite offenses that can score points because you have more receivers than a team can cover on that side of the football, and those that just don't have that. And Clemson does not have this secret sauce that we are just still, for those who haven't watched football or Clemson this year, you're so used to the Trevor Lawrences and the Deshaun's and the receivers they've had. They don't have that right now at all. And it's going to bite them in the ass this weekend.
And look, I know that because, I mean, look, Duke beat Clemson 28-7. And I know it's a weird game that the computers hate because it's a huge outlier game where actually the raw box score should say that game should have been really close, or that maybe Clemson should even won, but I don't give a fuck. They beat Duke, or excuse me, Duke beat Clemson 28-7, and I think you're way better than Duke. So FSU, erase any of the doubt. The LSU win announced you to the world. Okay. This BC game, for some, maybe started making people look at you a bit sideways. You go take care of Clemson. You are very clearly the best team in the ACC. You erase any doubt. The rest of the year will be playoff talk, championship talk. Get ready. So this is a massive opportunity. If Florida State wants to be officially back, there will be no argument you can make against them being back if you do it this weekend. This
is everyone's opportunity in the ACC this year to feel good by just knocking down Clemson. And the same thing could be said for the SEC and the SEC West. Like, this is everyone's opportunity to knock down Alabama, like two of the better programs in college football for a decade plus. Obviously Alabama's been doing it a little bit longer than Clemson, but Clemson has been one of those dominant ones. Multiple national championships, been in the playoffs a bunch, all the good stuff, first round draft picks, first pick. They are like, everyone is now licking their chops saying they got a broken wing. They ain't the same. Like, this is our year where we close the gap, possibly beat them. And then from there, who knows what the future lies. And the same thing, once again, can be said for Alabama and the SEC. Like, everyone is looking at it like, this is our year. And we'll get to Lane Kiffin in that game tomorrow, but this is our year to knock the big boy out.
All right. So that's Clemson, Florida State. Obviously we're in agreement. Florida State's clearly the better team. They should win. Next up, we got another that's not ranked unranked. We have our first ranked unranked matchup that we're breaking down. Number 22 UCLA taking on number 11 Utah, and for the Utes, Aaron, it's all about injuries, and it's not just Cam Rising, though. I am tempted to reduce this game to its barest essence and just say, if Cam Rising plays, I think Utah wins. If Cam Rising doesn't play, I think UCLA wins. However, the problem with UCLA, the problem with Utah is it's not just Cam Rising. According to Kyle Whittingham, they are down 15 to 16 players that would be in the 2 deep on that roster right now. That includes, is it Quoth? I never know how to say his last name. The tight end that was super badass against Florida last year. He's awesome. He remains out. with an ACL. No idea if he's going to be back or not. Connor O'Toole, their best defensive end, hands down, remains out. Junior Tafuna, their best overall defensive lineman there in the interior. Here, he and his top backup remain out. And then how about this? Even their transfer kicker, Cole Becker, missed last game. So there is something insane going on in Utah right now. But the thing is, I'm not so sold on UCLA yet that I think that if you have a healthy Cam Rising, they can go into Utah and come away with a win with the two-time defending Pac-12 champions. So to me, it's all about Cam Rising, Aaron.
Well, in a little bit, to me, it's more about Dante Moore, the quarterback for UCLA. Like, I think that's the bigger question in this football game. And let's just go back to UCLA's schedule real quick. They've played Coastal Carolina, San Diego State, and North Carolina Central. Yeah, that's it. Like, what have they really done this season? Like, this is the week. Like, I hate that we're going to say this. I hope we don't say it a bunch. Like, this is the prove it week. Like, most of the teams, like everyone got through their preseason. Yeah, but it's just still so hard to judge a freshman quarterback that I don't know if you can consider going to San Diego State a true road test for him and a road game for him. Like, this is going to be, and we saw it versus Florida. Like, this is a hostile environment. This is one of the tougher places to play in the Pac-12. And you're going to be on the road for the first time as a young quarterback. And I've watched every single game for UCLA on the offense side of the football. I think he's good. I think I don't know if he's good enough right now, 3 games into his, because he didn't start as the first game of the season.
Even if Cam Rising doesn't play,
I think Utah is a better coach. I think Utah, even with the injuries, has the better defense. And I'm just telling you, man, like, I've been in that situation as a freshman quarterback, and I was a redshirt freshman going into a hostile environment like that for the first time. Very few quarterbacks can go in there with all the pressure in the world, primetime television, 2 undefeated teams, the back-to-back Pac-12 champions, and go out there and have a good day against one of the better defenses in the country. I just think it's a tall task to ask for the young man.
It is. And it's weird because, like we said, he's a top 10 rated quarterback in the country, right? But again, Coastal's not a bad win. He didn't get to play that whole game, but he did start the last 2. San Diego State's not a bad win. And then look, against who was it? NC Central? He was actually, if you look at PFF's top graded quarterbacks in the entire country last week, Shadur 92, Penix 92.3, Riley Leonard 92.7, Dante Moore 94.1, then Van Dyke 94.2. Again, though, what I'm saying is he's been excellent against these lesser teams, but obviously the step up here is massive. You're going from the least to the best.
Look at Utah's defense this year. Go back to the first game, and kind of remember what Florida just looked like versus Tennessee. And I'm not trying to make Tennessee to be like these world beaters on defense, but Florida ran right through them. Those running backs were electric. You go back to the first game of the season, Florida at Utah, 13 total yards rushing. 13 total yards rushing. Right now, they are giving up 65 total yards on the ground this season. Like, this is a defense that's going to say, hey, freshmen, beat us, because we ain't letting anyone run on us right now. So are you going to tell me a true freshman is going to have to put the weight of his shoulders on his back and go out there and win a football game? If he does, then Chip Kelly's got a superstar immediately right now. I was going to say, I don't believe it, man. I think the defense for Utah is too good. They're going to make them one-dimensional. I can see a couple mistakes from the young quarterback.
Well, but that is strength on strength, right? Chip Kelly teams run the ball. That's what they do. And then you look it up right now.
Well, so does Florida, though.
UCLA clearly in the lead in the Pac-12, averaging 270 yards a game on the ground right now. They're averaging 7.5 yards a carry, Aaron. I'm kind of with you.
Have they played?
No. So that's what I was getting at, though. I mean, as nice as that sounds, I am with you that, like, that's unsustainable against a great defense.
Yes,
it's not possible to go out in Utah and average 7.5 yards a carry. So I think if Cam doesn't play, though, I think UCLA, I think they will win. Mm-hmm. But if Cam Rising plays, I think Utah wins. And I'll say this, I think Cam Rising plays. Reading Utah beat writers, apparently Whittingham was like, he entered the press conference and without even being asked, said, Cam, oh yeah, he practiced today, did a great job, but we'll know nothing for 48 hours at a minimum. Then, of course, we won't make an announcement. You'll just find out on game day who the guy is. That's the best I can tell you right now. And Michelle Bodkin, who is a beat writer that covers Utah, said, quote, while nothing concrete was given either way, Witt's answer felt a little different than some of the responses given in the past. And I know that sounds uncommittal, but I read a lot of beat writers and they have good reads on these things. And also, you better hope he's ready to go, Aaron, because like this kicks off. Here's Utah's schedule: home against ranked UCLA, at number 14 Oregon State, slight break against Cal, then at number 5 USC, home against number 10 Oregon. So 4 of the next 5 games against ranked teams. UCLA probably the least of those ranked teams. So you need Cam Rising to get back in form as this schedule only gets tougher and tougher. And he wanted to keep playing. Then he goes to Arizona State, into number 8 Washington on the road, then Zona, into 19 Colorado. So like 7.
That's every Pac-12 schedule though right now. Like
okay, that is. But okay, so that's why I didn't go.
Schedule.
That's why at first I kept it a 4 of the 5.
Yes.
Not many have 4 of the 5. Like Utah's coming up.
I mean, what do we always say? Like teams, what hinders a team from winning a championship that of Utah's caliber? And I know it's still probably hard for fans to fathom in a conference with Oregon and USC and some of these other schools that Utah has been the defending back-to-back champs of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So like, what hinders them from going for the three-peat? What hinders Georgia from going for a three-peat? It's injuries.
Yeah.
It's
Always.
the injury bug right now. And that's the number one thing that will stop you from getting back to the Pac-12 championship. So I don't know. I'm in the sense of right now, regardless, Cam Rising, no Cam Rising, I think Utah at home will win this football game.
Okay. Confident. There we go. Let me take the spread on that here in a little bit. Next up, we head over to the SEC. Man, we got a little Auburn versus Texas A&M. Interesting here looking at these two. And Aaron, I kind of think it's pretty clear, right? These are two teams in somewhat similar situations, and there are teams that have very high expectations. They have a lot of talent. They have not been performing to that talent level. The only issue is we are early on in the Freeze rebuild, whereas Jimbo has been able to bake for a while. I guess what I think is like, I think of these two teams as existing in similar states, only A&M is more so, right? Like A&M has a quarterback they fully believe in. They have elite weapons. They have slightly more talent. They are at home. I think this is an A&M win.
I lean toward that too a little bit, and I think it helps for the fact that I was in Auburn last weekend calling their football game and got to see those guys up close and see what they look like on both sides of the football. It's a good team, man. It's a 7-5 football team for Auburn, but the talent is just not there compared to what A&M has, and
yeah,
like I think we also get caught in to kind of go against that too. We do get caught into that kind of conclusion all the time with A&M now of, well, the talent is better than so-and-so. Well, the talent was better than Miami, so A&M should win. Well, at some point we do have to like not lean on that as much because they are one of the most underachieving football programs out there. A&M
no doubt.
100% they are.
But there are key differences in the Miami setup. First off, Miami's pretty much just as talented as Auburn, right? But yeah, it's quarterback, right? Yeah. Tyler Van Dyke is looking like Tyler Van Dyke again. He looks like a top 10 quarterback in the country. I think Hugh Freeze has been really creative in what he's doing with Auburn and Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford, but it's not anything that is like, I mean, bro, it's not Connor Wigman. Like, if we want to look at when A&M has fucked up in the past, it's been like last year. Did they have all the talent in the world? Yes, but you know what they had? They had an injured and young offensive line. They had a bad offensive system. They had a rotating door at quarterback due to injuries and whatnot. And so all those elements are kind of removed now. Like, even if you don't think Bobby Petrino is great, his system is better. The offense has been better than it was under Jimbo. That's objectively true. The offensive line is more stable and has been better. And you know exactly who your quarterback is. So like A&M still probably not going to reach their full potential, but they're not the disaster of 5-7 last year.
No, definitely not. So the two of the big issues with Auburn is the turnovers. I mean, they had 4 turnovers versus Cal. Payne Thorne threw 2 interceptions last week. Like that's kind of turning to a major problem. I will say the one thing about Payne Thorne, like he impressed me last week throwing the football. Like he's a better thrower than I was anticipating, kind of what we saw from him at Michigan State. And he's a better runner too. Like I kept expecting in a blowout victory to see a ton of Robbie Ashford, especially against the defense they were facing last week, this 3-3-5. And they kind of made a statement that, like, yeah, Robbie is an elite athlete, but Payne's a pretty damn good runner too. Like, I think to me, this is a game where Payne's going to have to go off running the football. Like this is classic Hugh Freeze zone read, quarterback running type football game where you try to get a heavy box. And what's the weakness for Texas A&M? And you go back and watch their defense versus Miami. Watch their defense last week. Those DBs are not good at all. They are suspect.
So okay, so that's my question.
And I'm not saying like Auburn. I'm not saying Auburn's world beaters at receiver.
Yeah,
but like Fayweather at tight end is really legit. They're going to find ways to get him matched up. Like they got a couple decent guys that can make plays. I would say their receivers are better than A&M's DBs. It's just a matter of, can you get A&M out of too deep? Can you run the ball effective enough?
So okay, so that is my big question then. Since you watch this Auburn team so closely, yeah, I mean, like, go ahead and try to predict that. Like, A&M's defense may be bad, but is this Auburn offense going to be able to take advantage of it? Because I feel like A&M
they're bad against the pass.
No
they're good against the run. They're good against the run. They're bad against the pass for A&M. Like I like what their front seven's doing. It's just
so that
when
feels
teams are
okay.
the ball.
So that feels like A&M should win this game. They're at home as well. Like I feel like A&M.
No, I agree. Yes, I think A&M should win this game, and plus Auburn defensively, not consistent this year, especially getting after the quarterback. I think Wegman is just right now. He's feeling himself. He's playing great football. He's getting it to all his receivers. They are the better team in there, and once again, they're better in the key positions that I'm looking for. They are significantly better at the quarterback spot. They're significantly better at the receiving position, and I give the defense a coin flip of who's the better defense right now between the two of them.
Look, don't get me wrong. I think, like I told you, I think the Jimbo era at A&M has run its course. Like I think they have.
Who's the better coach?
Think about paying $70 million. Now Hugh Freeze easily. But so I think the Jimbo thing is very clearly run its course. But I still think they win this game. If they lose this game, do you actually realize what a disaster that is for A&M? Like there's no excuse that Hugh Freeze in year 1 should be eating Jimbo and Texas A&M in year 7 or whatever this is. Like that. And I know we've, like you kind of alluded to earlier, we played this disaster game with Texas A&M so many times, but this would feel especially bad this year for all the reasons we just said, because on paper A&M should win. So drop your nuts, Aggies. You know what? Just make sure you get to yell practice on Friday. Okay. If you go to yell practice on Friday, y'all are definitely going to win. How come we're not doing that anymore? I was really loving trolling A&M's yell leaders. Did they stop putting that out there? Like, is that not public anymore?
The disaster that happened last year.
Yeah. Woo! Giga.
I guess it really hasn't been a lot of juice for their 2 home games this year, New Mexico and UL Monroe. So, they've been more warming up in anticipation for this first SEC home game versus Auburn.
Can't wait to see what the sweet
three straight home games for A&M: Auburn, Arkansas, and then Alabama.
Damn.
This is the make or break time for Jimbo right now. These next 3 weeks of, if you're going to keep your job next year, you got to win at least 2 of them. But if you can win all 3, whew,
bro, that man
narrative change real fast. They got Alabama's number right now.
That's Alabama's
number.
Worst freeze puns. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's true. So Brum is trying to predict what the yell leader practice will consist of. The insults: worst freeze puns, Batman and Robin, or yell leaders on Friday. At least Batman and Robin had Arnold delivering freeze puns while playing Mr. Freeze. Like that's fucking excellent. The yell leaders will be cringy like they always are. I will always say this for A&M fans, though. They are psychotic in their belief and their passion. Like they always think it's about to turn. It's about to work out. It's finally about to be good. And maybe it will. SEC's down. Like the door is wide open. We'll see. We'll see. So we think A&M should win this thing.
Yeah.
Up next, another SEC battle. Where's LSU ranked even right now? I don't know, like 12 or something.
12? I think 12.
I think so. So Arkansas at LSU in Tiger Stadium. I watched Arkansas BYU for an hour and a half last night. Aaron went through all the film, and I think
it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it would be.
So I come away deeply unimpressed with Arkansas's D-line. LSU's O-line is going to Arkansas's D-line looks big, but they're entirely ineffective. Landon Jackson.
There's nothing like super impressive. There's nothing like super impressive about Arkansas, but there's nothing that's like complete crap either. They're just an average football team.
Yes, I would say on the whole that's true. I do feel like the D-line is a little is a little bad. Is a little bad. I mean, they just can't get pressure. Like they don't win in the pass rush unless they add numbers in. Now, granted, BYU's a good O-line, but I think LSU's better even. So, and even the Arkansas offensive line and the offense as a whole had like a great start. And I was like, okay, you know what? Actually, they're going to be able to they'll have success against LSU's defense. But then as the game goes on, Arkansas just completely fell apart.
They don't have receivers. I told you, man. Like they hit the portal hard. Got a bunch of receivers from smaller conferences like Group of Fives or smaller divisions and brought them in, and right now it just seems like the speed and the size of playing some of these other teams are just they're not ready for it. Like their best guy right now, and who they were super excited about when I was with them in spring, is their tight end Luke Haas, who I think had 4 catches for like 80 yards last week and a touchdown. Like he's a little bit of a matchup guy that you can move around. He's an athletic tight end, little undersized. But you can get him on a linebacker, maybe him versus Perkins could be an interesting situation. But like their weakness on offense is their receivers going against LSU's weakness on defense, which is DBs. And I just don't think they're good enough on offense to create any sort of stuff. Like you turn on the film for Arkansas this entire season, and there are rarely times where KJ's throwing the ball and a guy's running open.
Bro, BYU had them manned up. If BYU is manning you up and you can't and you can't win those battles and you're in the SEC, that's a bad sign. It's a bad sign.
Where's Rocket? Where the hell's Rocket?
I don't know, man. If Rocket plays, I do think they changed a lot as well, because I felt like their backs were very slow and kind of undynamic looking last week. Like not making the thing that I worry about too, Aaron, is KJ didn't look fully comfortable. The O-line started losing pass rush bad at the end of the game. You had a couple forced fumbles come in, getting smoked on the blind side. I mean, last chance pass of the game, you got a chance to win it. And what happens? The left tackle just whiffs and he gets lit up. So, I think this is another game where Harold Perkins shines, the interior defensive line. So, in the end of the day, I think LSU clearly wins by double digits. This Jaden Daniels offense, this LSU offensive line are just so dialed in right. Oh, how about this, Aaron? We looked it up today. Arkansas, too, defensively has played single high man about 50% of the time this year. I don't think you want to play single high man against Malik Neighbors and company right now.
No.
Like LSU doesn't attack the middle of the field. So I would have to imagine they come out with a different game plan. Like last year, they ended up dropping 8 a ton. Maybe they do that again.
The problem is like right now, and this just goes to just how good LSU is offensively. Like, yeah, you can say all you want. Like, hey, man, let's drop 8. Let's go to cover 2. Let's play 2 safeties high. Like, let's not let Jaden, who is red hot right now at 74% completion, pick us apart with Neighbors and Thomas and Lacey and Hilton and Mason Taylor if he's back at tight end. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. I mean, this is one of the best, if not the best, receiving corps in America. And you have a quarterback that has improved significantly as a passer. So let's just play too high and protect. Well, the problem is now, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, Logan Diggs looks phenomenal running the football.
He looks really good.
Caleb Jackson adds some juice too. It's going to be John Emery's second game back, and we'll see what he looks like until the rotation. But now all of a sudden, you have an offensive line who, with the adjustment on the right side, is playing really physical. One of the better offensive lines in the conference, and you have really good running backs. So okay,
if you're talking conference, dude, I think LSU is the best O-line in the conference.
There's not a weakness on this. Week 1 versus FSU, the reason why they didn't have as much success, they didn't have running backs. They now have running backs, and this is a balanced attack where you can't go in the cover 2 because then you're just going to run on you. And if you want to go single high, Jaden has been deadly accurate with the football. Like, I love this offense. I think it's the best offense in the SEC.
Well, and to be clear, I still maintain, and this is why I was probably going so hard on FSU earlier. I still maintain that was more about just FSU being good, because you turn on the tape and those are fucking dudes that the Seminoles have on defense. You turn on most college tape and it just doesn't look like that.
No.
The bodies don't. So I think LSU wins by double digits. The 18's a little hard for me. I think I'm gonna lay off
Arkansas
it.
scoring. I don't see Arkansas scoring.
So you don't think
how does Arkansas score? How does Arkansas score?
They looked uncomfortable against PBU. They were up 31-21 halfway through the third and lost 38-30.
I could see like LSU win this game like 35-10.
Shit. I mean, I kind of can too, man. I don't know. And it's in Tiger Stadium.
Night game. I think LSU fans are starting to see like, okay, like that first game sucked, but like this is a really good football team. 7:00 or 6:00 local time.
6:00. Yeah, 6 local.
Give me LSU big.
I think LSU big as well. I'll let y'all know on Friday whether or not I'm playing the bet. But I feel very comfortable predicting LSU win here. Again, it's kind of like last week against Mississippi State. I would be shocked and appalled if they didn't find a way. Which, credit, last year Arkansas without KJ Jefferson should have beaten LSU if it wasn't for Harold Perkins. So we'll see. Next on this list, Aaron, I'm calling this the Battle of the Bastards. They put a couple of poor misfit toys that nobody wants. They've thrown them out. Who else could I be talking about but Oregon State and Washington State? Two very good football programs, both ranked, both played the best football they've played in years, and yet being left behind by everybody else in the Pac-12. I feel awful for these programs. I feel happy that these programs get to square off in such a big moment here.
It's sad. Game day should have gone there just to give them some love. I mean, it's just. I mean,
you can't skip Ohio State, Notre Dame, but I feel you. Again, the Battle of the Bastards. Like it's sad. These are very talented programs that nobody wants.
You know, the crazy stat is you go back, you go look at Washington State right now. They don't have a rusher over 100 yards this season. They don't have a single rusher over 100 yards through the first 3 games of the season right now. I think that's
like season statistics.
Like season statistics, not like a single game. They don't have one rusher. Cam Ward has 95 total yards rushing, and Payne has 95 total yards rushing. Like, this is
I haven't watched a lot of Wazoo. What do they just throw it around all the time?
Cam just kind of runs around. Yeah, Cam runs around a bunch. I mean, obviously, he's
Cam Ward's
with 32 carries
per game right now. 9 touchdowns, no picks.
And I like Cam. Like, I talked about him at the beginning of the season. Like, he's been big in the season. I'm trying to remember. It was Wisconsin was the game I watched a couple weeks ago, and he won the game for them. Man, he was great. I just think this defense is going to be too good to be a little bit one dimensional. And I like what they're doing on offense. You know what's funny? Like this is a big weekend for DJU. Like if Clemson loses to Florida State and Oregon State finds a way to win this football game, which I think they should win this football game, and DJ plays well, which he's played well for the majority of the season. Like, man, that's an ultimate flex for him. So I think he goes out there, plays well. I like their offense. I just think Oregon State's the more balanced football team in this game. I think they're the better defense as well. But it's gonna be a good game. Like Cam Ward is it kind of goes to like what I'll talk about a little bit tomorrow with Colorado versus Oregon. It's not like an extreme difference in talents like that game is. But anytime you have like a quarterback that is as creative as Shedeur is or Cam is, like those guys always give you a chance because they can always create a home run play like that. Like he's a home run play ready to happen at all times, which can always keep you in the game. I just don't know if they're going to get me into those opportunities.
So okay. How would you answer this? Who's the better quarterback between Uiagalelei and Cam Ward? It's Cam Ward, right? I mean, statistically, it's Cam Ward, but in your film evaluation,
I like DJU more as a quarterback.
Oh wow, okay, so that makes sense.
I think Cam's a great athlete. And can make plays.
Well, but I'm not talking NFL prospect.
I know. I know, which is hard for
college quarterback. I'm talking in terms of a college quarterback. Who is the better guy? Again, Cam Ward.
I would still take DJU.
Pretty much unapproachable, despite having played better talent or better teams than what Washington State did. Okay.
Yeah, but it goes back to balance though. Like Oregon State is a more balanced football team. Like they're running the football. Like Martinez has 351 yards on the season, almost a 9-yard average.
I mean, Washington State beat the hell out of Colorado State, beat Wisconsin badly second year in a row. And I don't care about the Northern Colorado game. We're going to see. Oregon State's defense right now is giving up like 11 a game, but they ain't played nobody. So again, it's a classic prove-it situation. You know what? I'm going to fade you here. I'm going to fade you here. I think Cam Ward's better than DJU. Games in Pullman. I think Pullman has magic. I think Washington State pulls up the upset here.
What's Vegas have this at?
Got my college football games brought up right here. Give me a second. Control F. Oregon State.
They have Oregon State
-3. Oregon State -3. -3. Yeah, I will be betting Wazoo money line here. I'm gonna try to get it. Yep. I'm gonna try to get a little juice for the home team. Let's go, Cam Ward and Pullman, baby. I'm just more excited to watch this. What time is it? Oh, it's gonna be at 6 p.m. as well. Shit, I'm not gonna be able to watch till the next day, probably. More so. A lot of good games, man. Got to have a lot of screens rocking and rolling this weekend. I can't wait to be back in the office. And then finally, our last game of the show today, Iowa at Penn State. Back to Happy Valley we go once again, and it's going to be a whiteout. So I need to offer an apology because when Penn State did the whiteout against West Virginia, I didn't realize they did 2 a year. I do believe the whiteout to be one of the more powerful college football traditions. I think in a big game, it can actually bring you juice, and it's going to be a good one. I mean, it's funny though, Aaron, and thinking about this game, I'm guilty of kind of ignoring Iowa as a player and treating them more like an NPC, where it's just like, okay, what can player one, Drew Allar and Penn State, what will they look like against Iowa? And then I'm going to try to carry that. Like I'm giving Iowa no chance of threatening for the Big Ten. This is just about whether or not Penn State can prove that they could threaten Ohio State or Michigan.
And I was not impressed with Allar last weekend. And I was kind of like, man, like Iowa's not a bad football team. We know Iowa can play pretty good defense. And I'm watching tape this morning and drinking my coffee before the kiddos wake up. And I almost spit my coffee out because I've watched Iowa's offense. I want to see like, what does Cade McNamara look like? And I really haven't watched their defense much this year because like it was probably gonna be same thing, just a really good, solid, fundamentally sound defense. And I turn it on and I see 2 white DBs. I see a white corner. I see a white safety. Corner. I'm like, what is going on? Almost spit my coffee out. My wife is like, what's up? I was like, 2 white guys on defense playing DB. This ain't good. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Like
now,
I've told you a story. Like white DB alert is a real thing. Is a real thing.
That is true. That is true, Aaron. But remember, last year they had Riley Moss, who was a dog. White DB went to the Senior Bowl, balled out. Hasn't played in the NFL yet. He got hurt, so he's been inactive for 2 weeks. But I think when Riley Moss is healthy, we're going to see a white corner in the NFL again. And where'd he come from? Iowa. So I feel you on the white guy alert. Like
Cooper DeJean. I'm looking at this DB. Like, can you just pull up his picture right now? And
Cooper
it just
is not really nearly as cool of a name as Riley Moss.
I know, but just look. He looks like a little frat boy. He looks like a little frat boy.
Oh my God!
I hope he's a great kid.
He has the TikTok flop. He has the high and tight with the TikTok flop. It does look like a fast white boy, though. You know, I will say that.
They play a lot of cover 2. They protect those corners, which as they should. They protect them.
All I'm saying is, I understand white guy alert, but Iowa, I know, but Iowa has also made a career of overachieving white guys, right? Like that is Kirk Ferentz defense. He's made a life of that, of taking a 3-star white defender and making him tenacious and effective. Like that is Kirk,
over and over again. I think it's going to be. I will say this.
I know Penn State has running backs.
No, they don't.
Have the weapons on the outside.
Well, so 2 things. So sticking on an Iowa real quick. Like I think Cade has actually played well this year, but the problem is you look at this game right now, and their best receiver, who's a tight end, Lachey, I believe it's called Lachey, is Luke Lachey, going to be out for the football game. 2 of their top running backs, Patterson and Johnson, both going to be out. So you're going to be out your best receiver, and you really don't have any good receivers. You're going to be out 2 of your top running backs, and you're going against a really, really really, really good defense in Penn State. Like this Penn State defense is nasty, and it's at home, and it's a whiteout. I don't think Iowa, unfortunately, this ain't going to help that 25-point average. Like
Yeah.
they may not get double digits in this game. Like I don't see it happening.
No,
I think
don't
that's the
see
biggest
Iowa.
difference. I think like Iowa will not be able to score against Penn State.
14.5-point spread on this one. So Vegas agreeing
It's like a
that this one doesn't feel too close.
24-7 game. Something like that. 27-7.
But that kind of goes back to my original point, right? This isn't really about what can Iowa do. This, unfortunately, I hope they prove me wrong and make this exciting pull of upsets because I love upsets. But like, this more feels like okay,
over under 40.
If you can always bet the under on Iowa. But this is like Drew Lar. If you can prove to be dynamic and explosive and successful against a Kirk Ferentz defense, I won't doubt you going forward. If you go out there and play really big, Penn State wins really big, then all of a sudden maybe we're talking about Penn State maybe beating Ohio State, maybe beating Michigan. Until then, I'm not giving them that credit. So
it's a big prove-it game for quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Like you have two young quarterbacks for Ohio State and Penn State that right now both those teams are looking at like how can we beat Michigan, and it's going to come down to quarterback play. Like so, both these quarterbacks have a lot to prove for me this weekend, and I think Drew Lar for me has a lot to prove after what I saw last week. And I think the biggest difference between him and Ohio State is he doesn't have stud receivers on the outside. Like he's kind of handicapped right now. Like there's a big expectation for this kid to be a superstar and to win the Big Ten for you and to lead you to your first playoff. I get all that, but there is not a lot of support for him to go out there and do that besides the running game.
Yeah, it's like Monday night.
Unfortunately.
I love listening to Unk and Ocho on their new volume football recap shows. It's like they were talking about Monday night. Like George Pickens sure does make Kenny Pickett look pretty good. You know, like if you have George Pickens, that goes a long way towards helping you as a quarterback and making you look awesome.
They don't got that at Penn State, sadly. They don't got that.
So, Brum, in the chat, you put over under a 40 ... And I think the point is like, wow, what a low number. But I would love to see when in the fuck was the last time I was hitting 40 in terms of over under. I mean, I've seen it in the high 20s. We've seen it in the low 30s. 40, I mean, bro, that's an easy hit.
I'm taking that. That may be my lock of the week right there. You know, I love me some good unders.
Yeah, you do. I mean, most sharps do, but I'm not sharp, so I don't. All right, that's it. That is day 1 of 2 days of college football previews. Rare. I don't think it's ever happened on Snaps before. We've had such a full weekend that we had to break down the preview shows into 2 days. So really excited for that. Tomorrow's show, Ole Miss, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Colorado, Oregon. A massive thank you to Pat Gunther, Ryan Brumley, Danny Cardenas, Chris Tran, Christian Hunter, Adam Gracia, everybody on the Snaps team. A huge, massive thank you to everybody who listens and rates and reviews it, or you get on youtube.com/@volume snaps and you like it, share, subscribe. All of this stuff helps. And thank you, Aaron Murray, for your invaluable insight and that beautiful smile and fade and teeth that we enjoy every single day. We love you all. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow on a brand new episode of Snaps.